All right then. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is February 26th, 2021. This is a special meeting of the members of the State Liquor Authority being conducted in Albany and also remotely. We have in attendance Chairman Bradley in the Albany offices, Commissioner Ford and Commissioner Fan attending by video. Staff in attendance, General Counsel Meyerhoff by video, Deputy Commissioner of Licensing Roberts on the telephone,
Come on, thanks.
and myself, Secretary Donahue in the Albany offices. We have one item on today's calendar. It's a request for an emergency order of summary suspension by counsel's office. The item is 510V Kings OP 1221428. The licensee is Mills Tavern Corp.
Hi, good afternoon, members of the board. My name is Tammy O'Hara. I am a senior attorney in the counsel's office, and I am requesting an emergency order of suspension for the named licensee.
It's 2 p.m. Hope you're having a good day.
I apologize. And this license was initially in effect on November 12th of 2009 and is due to expire on October 31st of 2021. The inspection in question occurred on February 24th of 2021 between the hours of 10:25 p.m. and 11:05 p.m. At that time, members of the investigators from the SLA, in addition to members of the New York City Police Department, completed an inspection at the licensed establishment. While there, they observed a multitude of issues, number one being a violation of the executive orders, specifically the ones regarding, first off, employees not wearing masks, so a violation of 202.16. The patrons that were inside of the establishment were also not socially distant, and they were not wearing masks, so they were also in violation of 202.43. And the establishment appeared to be in violation of the amount of people that were supposed to be inside of the establishment. Right now, New York City is at 25, well, at that time was at 25%. The licensed establishment, according to their application, had a maximum occupancy they set to be at 48. There were a total of 15 people that inside, so it was a little bit above 25% that were inside of the premises at the time. In addition to the executive order violations, there were also quality of life issues that needed to be addressed, especially that there was evidence and observations of cocaine use inside of the establishment in a rare room. There was also gambling machines that were inside of the establishment that appeared to have been used. And it just appears in general that the owner of the establishment was very hands-off in terms of the management of the property. There was no kitchen, there was no food, so there was alcohol being served without any food being utilized, so also a violation of 202.52. Upon questioning the licensed principal, she indicated that there had not been any kind of food the ability to make or serve food for at least a decade inside of the establishment. It is clear from the lack of just the plethora of issues that were occurring inside of the establishment that it was not being managed properly, and that the owner completely failed to ensure the public health, safety, and welfare of the patrons and also residents of Brooklyn, New York. So at this time, I am requesting an emergency order of suspension based on those reasons.
Thank you, Tammy. Yeah, on this one, members of the board, they've admitted they've been non-bona fide for 10 years. And on top of that, they are being asked to operate in a restricted environment where they're not allowed to serve alcohol without food, and they're not capable of serving food. So there's no way they can comply with the existing executive orders. When you add to that the fact that they're allowing cocaine use in plain sight in their location and a host of other violations, we believe this is a place that should be suspended while these charges are pending.
All right, then, with that, Commissioner Fan, do you have any questions?
Tammy, tell me again when this license was issued?
It was issued on November 12th, 2009.
And you said it expires October of this year.
That's correct, yes.
And they don't have any real adverse history, right?
They do have there's a failure to comply for noise. I believe that was from 2019. Hold on one moment. Yeah, so they were they had a violation for failure to comply for noise. They paid $500. So that was the loan violation that they had. That was actually sustained, or there were a few others that were dismissed regarding a stabbing that occurred involving patrons and security guards, but that was dismissed.
Okay.
Commissioner Ford, do you have any questions?
I'm
sorry.
sorry, Tom, let me just ask one more question. You said that the owner is hands off. I feel like the husband is there and she was reachable on the phone. So can you just explain the hands off?
Absolutely. So the investigator Stravali did interview the licensee, and it was clear from the interview that she was not really aware of mostly anything that was going on inside, in terms of the pool table, some of the changes that were made inside of the premises, the fact that the health certificate had been expired at least for a few months, and also, she definitely claimed ignorance of a lot of the different issues that were observed by Investigator Stravali inside of the establishment.
Okay, thank you, Tammy.
All right, Commissioner Ford?
Yes, Counselor, can you cite any health, fire, safety type of violations that were observed?
Yes, the exit door was barred. So there was a piece of plywood that was in front of the back door that prevented it from being opened. So if you can imagine, in the case of a fire, there would have been an inability for anyone to escape. Additionally, for the front door, it was remote controlled. So you couldn't just open the door and walk in. You had to be buzzed in. In addition to that, there were the fire extinguishers were not inspected. They were not properly placed inside of the premises. Let's see. One moment. I'm sorry, just give me one moment. Kind of lost my train of thought right for a moment.
Sorry about that. Actually,
Yes,
Tammy,
and there were expired inspection tags. There was open flame permits. There was for candles. There were unsecured compressed gas tanks. Extension cords were being used as permanent wiring. So there was a lot of issues that may cause fires. And again, with the exit and entrance doors being blocked, it was just basically a disaster waiting to happen because people would have been trapped inside of the establishment.
Yep.
I'm sorry, can I just ask one more follow-up question? As far as the front door is concerned, you said that it has to be bust open, but can you open the door from the inside of the establishment? Or you have to press a button to go out?
It was unclear from the write-up if someone could actually manually go leave the establishment from the entrance, or if people needed to be buzzed in and out.
Okay.
It also appears, it also appears from Investigator Travaglia's report, which includes his usual checklist of all the violations, that the husband claimed ownership of the location and is not on the license. He may have forgotten that his wife was used as the licensee in this application, and maybe the one that's actually running this place. So we'll
Yeah, but
investigate
it
that.
could also be a cultural thing. I mean, you know, like.
Well, it could be, but the husband claims that he owns the location and he's not on the license.
All right then, Chairman, any questions?
No, I have no questions.
All right then, I'm going to call for the vote of the members. First, Commissioner Fan.
With just 1% overcapacity and 6311 calls, people, we have I don't see evidence that people were locked inside. I think summary suspension it's too serious. I'm not going to support this.
Commissioner Fan, can you explain what we're supposed to do about the cocaine being snorted in the back room? That's not grounds for, not grounds for, even without COVID, that's not grounds for suspension?
Not with one person smoking, doing cocaine in the back.
In open and notorious way, they're snorting cocaine, and that's not a suspension. That's not consistent with what this board has done in the past, but go ahead, Tom, go to the next one.
All right, Commissioner Ford, your vote, please.
I agree with Commissioner Fan that it's not really a question of overcapacity as much as 2 or 4 people. But with everything else has gone non-bona fide, no kitchen, no food, admittedly for like a decade. The fire and safety violations, those are always of great concern to me. Unsecured compressed gas tanks, and that's kind of why I wanted to get all of that on the record. And you know, open drug use is definitely not something that we condone either. So I'm going to vote to summarily suspend based upon evidence presented by counsel.
All right then, Chairman Bradley.
I'm going to vote to summarily suspend. I believe that this license would be suspended without the COVID violations that are clearly in existence. There was open notorious drug use. There was clearly no food for approximately a decade. There was unlicensed security guards. This is a place that shouldn't be licensed. And then on top of that, we have people walking around with no masks, standing, drinking, and playing pool, which is clearly a risk to the public health, safety, and welfare. So I'm voting to summarily suspend.
All right then, I have no other items. Chairman, do you have anything else?
No. Have a good weekend. Thank you.
All right, with that, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Have a good weekend.